going to be sharing today all things about moms. And so my name is Angela Medeiros. I'm a longevity coach here with Zinzino. Excited about what we're bringing today and just bringing awareness of the omega balance. How exciting that this is really coming to the forefront. One of the things that I want to share with you today is actually out of Belgium. It was a global omega-3 summit on nutrition in actually 2011. And they actually stated that brain and heart disorders resulting from omega-3 deficiencies are the biggest challenges to the future of humanity. Associated costs are currently bankrupting healthcare systems and threatening wider economic instability worldwide. And we're going to talk about that worldwide problem. We're actually in 52 different nations. And, as a 61-year-old health enthusiast, I eat well, I exercise. I wanted to share with you before we get started my 21-1 score. And basically that is in the danger zone. And so we're going to talk today about getting our omegas in balance and what that actually means around motherhood and all things concerning motherhood. And with that, I'm so excited to introduce you to Dr. Jeanine. And so Dr. Jeanine Fedorko is a chiropractic physician with over 3 decades of experience helping patients achieve whole body wellness. She is known for her integrative approach, combining chiropractic care with functional testing, nutritional guidance, and mind-body healing techniques. She prides herself in giving back the power to your body to heal as it was meant to be. And I love that. She enjoys educating her patients about their bodies and teaching them what actually should be normal. She currently resides in Sarasota, Florida, and it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jeanine. Dr. Jeanine, welcome here on the Zoom today.
Great.
So
Thank you
I'm
so
going to,
much, Angela. This has been a lot of fun for me, actually. It's kind of got my spark back. Yes, I've been in practice for quite a while, doing alternative medicine that whole time. I do nutrition, I do saliva test, hormone test. I do a lot of detoxing of the blood, of the body. And so all these years I've been doing all this, and this has been a mind, opening for me of how much more that I could be doing for my patients. Because if their cell fluidity isn't good, I'm not getting all my good things in or getting the toxins out that I want to. So it's been, really, really exciting to bring this on. And then this particular topic about moms and pregnancy and children and another dear to me. I mean, I had all of my children at home. I breastfed all of them. I tried to prepare my body beforehand and during. And so this is really exciting piece of information that we can incorporate into this world also. So yeah, this has been a godsend for me to touch more people than one person at a time. That's where I'm at in my career. So this is a way for me to do it, to introduce it to all of you. You can take it into your homes and practices and whatnot. And then that'll allow me to touch a lot more people. So I'm very blessed and thankful for that. So here we go with Zinzino, a company, Angela, they've been around for, I forget,
20
yeah,
years.
20 years. Orion and Hilda, the beautiful couple here. It's a longer story than what I'm going to say, but they acquired the company, and Orion, he had his own health issues back in like 2013, 2014, until someone finally asked him the question about his balance of his omegas, which he didn't know. And all the doctors he went to, no one had asked about that prior to that. He got it tested. He found imbalance. He addressed the problem with the product, and he got his health back. That same year, his lovely wife, Hilda, who previously has had 16 miscarriages before this, she that same year was able to get pregnant and have, as you can see, 3 lovely children. So that's a huge number of miscarriages. So we all know we want to feel good and stay fit and stay healthy. And there's that old quote that says, healthy men have what? Many dreams, but an unhealthy man has what? One dream, to get healthy. So that's what we're trying to do here today. And we're all, I'm sure, aware of this also, that we used to eat food that was from Mother Nature. It had all the right combinations, the phytonutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, from our land, the omegas. And that isn't happening so much in today's world for sure. Most of the food we eat is packaged, man-made, pre-made, on the shelf for a long period of time. So lots of preservatives, bad oils, omega-6 oils, and not enough threes. We are not eating not only are we being exposed to too many bad fats, we're just not getting enough good fats in our diet for sure. So, of course, Hippocrates, a long time ago, said, let your food be the medicine, and then may your medicine be your food. So let's try to get into that. And with Zinzuno, we are solving a massive existing problem. To me, again, I knew about this. I was taught about this in school. I did not even realize, I think, or keep in contact with how extensive and how many different areas of your body that it does affect. And through this, again, I've been really put back in touch with all the different areas. And even here, National Geographic in 2024 had this as their cover. Everybody hears that word inflammation nowadays. They've heard it somewhere or another. They may not know all the connection to things, but people are aware that inflammation is not a good thing. So you can see cardiovascular health, brain health, joint health, digestive, leaky gut health, vitality, longevity. I mean, all the areas. So omega-6 essential, again, that word essential, and maybe a little bit later, Angela can explain. I mean, that word essential is almost taken for granted a little bit. We hear it, we say it, we know that means we need to get it out of our diet, but it's even bigger than that. So the omega-6, they're all important. They all have their place. So omega-6s are good for inflammation. So if you hurt yourself, cut yourself, do something, there's a place and time that we need inflammation. But then on the same regard, we should have the balance of the omega-3s that come along, and then they're anti-inflammatory, but also essential. We need to get them from our diet. The body does not make it. So we need that offset, the balance between the omega-6s and the omega-3s, which is 3 to 1 is the safe zone. Above that, it becomes not so conducive. It becomes the danger zone. Between 3 to even 10, we can give you that yellow zone, but it's like, listen, you really start to need to do something about this. But above that, it really does become the danger zone. So there's a lot of, and what are the consequences of omega-6 to omega-3 balances? So I'm going to pause here for a little bit and get more specific into the whole pregnancy and all the different stages of pregnancy. So generally speaking, their brain health, our hair, skin, and nails, the joint pain, our organs, our cardiovascular health for sure. But there's a few things specifically about pregnancy, even before you get pregnant. Like we, again, as moms, especially, and if there's any doulas on here, we know the importance of like folic acid and B12 that we need prior to even conceiving. Well, the same kind of notion goes with this, that an increase in omega-3 intake prior to conception actually will positively affect the embryo. It helps improve the egg. It helps improve the sperm, the quality of both of those. It actually helps reduce inflammation so that when you go to get implantation, so it enhances the implantation. It may help with the age-related, some women in today's world are getting pregnant when they're older. It actually may help with the age-related egg quality. And it actually helps a lot with hormonal balance. I do a lot with hormonal balance for women. And I've helped a lot of women get pregnant over my time, brought a lot of babies into this world by fine tuning just their nutrition. Even when they've been to some big clinics where they didn't look at some very basic things. And then during pregnancy is also critical for the omega-6, omega-3 balance. It can reduce miscarriages. It can reduce the placenta inflammation. So the risks of issues or complications with your placenta. It will increase the pregnancy length. So it actually reduces the preterm babies by about 42%. It helps reduce low birth weight, by about 11%. It supports the maternal moods and depression. And then while the baby's in your belly, the first thing that's developed is your nervous system and the brain. And so it's very, very important for the brain development of a child, of the baby. They say in the literature that I saw at least 5 to 1 or less, but again, that really what we're shooting for is 3 to 1 or less. And excessive omega-6 can actually impair brain growth. And there's even something that I saw, even potentially the structure of the brain linked to lower cognitive, linked to lower language and behavior scores overall. And the other thing that we may not think about, but even the baby's eye development, it's very important for at that stage too. And then when you get to postpartum, I used to in my practice tell women, when they were depressed or have a little bit, some postpartum issues, I used to say, put a nipple on the end of a flaxseed bottle and start drinking it. The baby will not suffer. The mom will be, things will be taken from the mom, and then she ends up on the other side having some symptoms, and one of them can be postpartum, and we hear there's different degrees of that. It can get pretty severe, and it could be something like the omega-6, omega-3 balance. It reduces inflammation for her. We speeds up the recovery for her. Obviously, postpartum depression, mood regulation, and also the production of her breast milk. And so many people, talk about breastfeeding, and now in today's world, it's a lot more accepted, but you need that hind milk. And then that hind milk is where all the fat comes from. And again, the fat will be taken from the mom and given to the baby first off. But there are a lot of moms that don't have the omega-3s to give up in the first place. So this is an important number from them to, not only know during, but even prior if possible. But if not, as soon as they come in contact with you, an important number for them to know for the baby's development and for themselves coming out the other side. Then as when the child is born, I mean, ADD, ADHD, depression, cognitive issues, it's meant everything emotional, everything mental is important to get your omega-6, omega-3 balance. So pretty comprehensive in all the stages. So this is part of why all that's important, especially during pregnancy also, is the cell wall. If your cell wall of your cells is not permeable, is not fluid, you cannot get your nutrition in and you cannot get the garbage out. I deal also with longevity. I deal with helping your mitochondria, helping your ATP and your energy production, helping you detox. But I cannot get my things into there if the cell wall literally will get rigid and hard and stiff if you don't have enough omega-3 in your system. And so I'm almost now backing up and saying, let me start with this because it's so comprehensive and attached to everything in your body, and then start to layer on my next things. But this was also very mind opening and helpful to me in my practice. So nearly impossible to get omega-3s from our diet. We are not eating enough omega-3s in our diet. And then, if over here we're even questioning which olive oil should we buy? Is it a mix? Is it good? Is it where to come from? And so we don't get enough, then we're afraid of fish because of all the, pollutions and the mercury and then whatnot. So we really don't get enough threes, but we definitely get too many sixes. And around the globe, 97% do not get the desired result. So the critical question is what you are doing getting your omega balance into balance. I've also used many different omega oils through my career. The ones I researched them, I look at them, I went to some of the companies to make sure, and I was using really good quality omega oils, but I really never knew where they started, and I never knew where I was getting to. I just knew the premises of this. So this has also been very, very helpful for me. 100% of the people who shouldn't know this test, everybody needs to know this number for one reason or another. And the other thing I tell my patients is not only to help your current symptoms that you have going on right now, but the things that I'm preventing for them that I'll never be able to prove on a piece of paper is priceless. That cardiovascular incident, that dementia waiting in the wings, the what happened, I was healthy yesterday, but what happened today? So 100% of the people need to know this number. 97% are actually failing it globally. And as Americans, 99% of us are failing globally. And even bigger than that is the amount of people they've actually done over 1.6 million tests now. It's a disruptive technology going away from guest-based nutrition to test-based nutrition. It's convenient. It's non-invasive. It's at home. It's accurate. It's confidential. And so this is where we are getting to is this test-based nutrition. People are getting tired of taking lots of supplements. Their protocols are getting so large and not knowing what is actually doing for them. So this has been also very helpful. The lab is a third-party lab. So it's not actually, in Zinzino, it's a third party. They work with a lot of like Ivy schools, different pharmaceutical companies. So it's a third-party lab, which I also appreciate when the patients send me. So it's not a conflict of interest. And they have a whole board of doctors on their board. This, though, shows you real quick across the country, across the world, really, different areas and what their percentages are that they're falling outside of balance. We're not the only ones. So, but we can bring your back into balance within 120 days. This has also been mind blowing for my practice in that to actually be able to show them something. The red blood cells have a life of 120 days. That's why you need to do anything. And I've always told my patients my whole career, if you don't do something for 120 days, you really haven't even tried it. You didn't give it a chance. You'll never know for sure if you don't go 120 days, because that's how long it takes the blood to turn over. So within 120 days, 95% of those people that were tested abnormal out of 97% come back within normal range. Again, if you think about 100, 1.6 million tests and 97% imbalance and 95% of those become balanced, again, what you're preventing for these people along with what currently symptoms, but again, for pregnant women, babies, the children, the development, it's just priceless. So this is really incredible. So they do have their scientific board, as I start to mention. They have their own patents, they have their own manufacturing, their research and development. Some of these doctors here, almost their whole career has been focused around omega-3s. There's also another doctor I like to mention here, Dr. Michael Lewis, and who's done a lot of research with omega-3s. He actually has a book, I think it's called Brains Collide, and post-traumatic, both physical and emotional things. And he's really focused in on the omega-3s for all those situations too. So our balance oil is not just a fish oil, it's much, much more. 60% of it is wild-caught, sustained, wild-caught fish, mackerels, anchovies, sardines. But the key to this oil that no one else has over the counter is this 40% is made up of pre-harvested, so early harvested olives from Spain, specific part of Spain that has this high polyphenol count. And there's no one else that does it. Some companies will add in another form of antioxidants, but it's not how nature intended or has it. So it's that combination that makes this much different. So here, there's a difference between oily fish and fish oil. In the oily fish, the polyphenols are naturally bound to the omega-3s. So Zinzino has figured out how to rebind. So when you clean fish oil, let me back up a second. When you clean fish oil, they all get stripped of these polyphenols along with the heavy metals, the mercury, whatever you're concerned about. But when that happens, you're losing those natural things that keep it from going rancid. So they have found a way to how to rebind the polyphenols in a natural way so that it is the omega-3s are effective. It can get through your digestive system and not be damaged by the acid, and it can get actually through the cell wall and into the tissues. So again, this is a whole, you can't take a swig of oil and a swig of olive oil and jump up and down and think that's going to mix it together. They actually do this at the microsomal level, so it's natural occurring when you take it. I also like this one just for a real quick reference in that, a lot of people talk about krill oil. It was a thing that came down the pike, there a little bit. But this shows you how well and how long this oil will stay without turning bad and going rancid. Some companies out there actually put deodorizers in their capsules and whatnot to make them not, smell bad when they go bad. And I've become very comfortable over the years when someone brings me in one to check of throwing it straight in the trash. Because one, it's not just not doing something good for you, it's actually oxidizing. So it's actually doing the negative for you. So I will right there on the spot throw it in the garbage for them. So the simple at-home test, this balance test, actually, I did one just a few minutes ago, so I'll show you that real quick too. Well, maybe you're sharing your screen, but anyway, $170 to $178 that it retails for, if you just bought that by itself. But when you actually sign up and you commit to doing that 4 months, you actually get the test for the first order. Actually, you get the whole order for $115, so which includes 2 tests and a free bottle of oil. And if you think about that, if you take out this $45 that the oil cost from that $115, you're left with what, $70. Divide that by 2, you get a $35 test on the front end, and then you get a $35 test on the second end, so back end. So the 5th month, so you get your 1 test, your 1 bottle oil. For the next 4 months, you'll get your bottle oil. The beginning of the 5th month, you get your second test because you need to commit to that 4 months, and your second bottle of oil to see where you've tested. And this is a great price point for anybody. They have all the quality control, all the patents, all the things that you would want, a great company to have. They have all of those. And then here, the healthy benefits of every stage. Personally, I would like to put the pregnant woman first because that's where the baby's really, really starting. And it's at first, I think it's, 1,000 days of a baby's is it life, from the first, moment it's conceived. This is important. And then through the babies, themselves, the little children, obvious us, as we get older, our cognitive function, our musculoskeletal system. So all phases of life is this a requirement. These are some 15 health claims that are proved by, moving as far as brain function, heart function. So these are things that have been backed up. There's studies on different functions. And that's the other thing I'm like, today is that you can chat GPT or Gronk or AI or Google or any condition that you want and put in the importance of omega-6, omega-3, and you can get something that will show you that. So they do have a few other tests. The balance test, of course, they have a gut health test, a vitamin D test, and hemoglobin A1C. And when you do these tests yourself, even with regular blood work, which you can get these done, I mean, the gut health test is quite different, so that's quite unique as far as that goes. But I do order gut health tests on a regular basis, and we know the gut brain connection is very, very important. So there's a lot of children that I've helped with fixing their guts with, again, a lot of the cognitive issues. And that can cost anywhere $400, $500, $600. Vitamin D test and regular blood work, it can be up to $200. And this one's like 55. The gut health test is like 145. And to be able to get that blood test is, 40, is 45 for the, I mean, when you get it, initially, it's a great big savings. So for me, to sum up why I really appreciated this, and this gave me the excitement back, is that it's not new science. It's not the latest, greatest gizmo thing or whatever. It's old science. It's proven over and over again. It's low cost for everyone. So I'm not asking somebody to, spend an extensive amount for the amount of coverage it will give you in your health. I don't have to give inventory in my office. I don't have to do a report of findings and interpret a test for my patients. I know it can benefit everybody, and there's no negative side effects. So it's been a win-win-win across the board for me. And like I said, with the children, and I know a lot of children who are having issues out there. Not that it's the end-all be-all only thing, but it can be a missing piece of the puzzle that we did not know. And same with pregnancies and miscarriages. That over my time of 35 years, I keep saying people are getting sicker. People are getting sicker. I don't understand. I don't understand. My protocols are getting so much bigger. And why is that? I'm super excited to back up, test, my people with this, add that in, and then everything else that I'm going to do is going to actually work like I want it to, or even better. So that's exciting for me.
So great. Well, super. You know, it's so exciting what we're doing here with Omegas. Thank you, Dr. Jeanine, for sharing everything about mommies and babies. What hit me really hard is, there's so much going on today with postpartum depression, and what hit my attention was when I heard that the actually military had done a study with the military men, and they actually had found 800 men that had committed suicide and actually took their blood samples from their dry blood sample storage. And they actually did a study and found that these men all had very low omega-3 levels. And the study deduced, and we can actually point you to the study if you'd like to see it, a 62% higher suicide rate when the levels were very low in their omega-3s. So it's something that affects so many things. I
Yeah.
know for me as a dual hip replacement gal, I wonder, what that would have meant for me if I had known to check my inflammation markers beforehand. So, and not only to mention my dad, who's 85, his dry eye has been, greatly helped by just, you know, getting his omegas in balance. So, so super. Well, what we're going to do now, There's actually a great opportunity here. If you're a physician or a doula on today, or perhaps just a health enthusiast like myself, perhaps you'd like to know about what we're doing as ambassadors for this amazing product globally in 52 different nations. One of the things that just hit me is this is not just a problem in the United States. I mean, United States is winning out with a 99.5% imbalance score over the board, where in the 52 different nations, it's actually a little bit lower, but not much, 97%. But when you can come back in and say that our company has formulated a balancing oil that actually is a 95% winner in getting people back into balance in just 4 short months, that's huge, you guys.